Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage Podcast, episode 317. I am Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky. Hello.
Hey, that's me. Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi. There's a red line on the screen in OBS. What's that?
That is just, it means an active window is selected. That is not on the stream, don't worry.
Oh, okay, don't worry.
Anytime you click an element.
Oh, okay, cool. Just want to make sure that was all fine.
Indeed.
We have beers and patrons. And our patrons, patreon.com/Carbitrage, where you will pay us to do this. There we go.
You summed it up.
Yes, I did.
I have the same type of beer, and so do you.
Mine's mostly empty, but I'll get another one at some point.
I will try to replenish. I also still have the same Coors Light. So
I'm just very excited about our first topic.
Okay, well,
because last episode, if you listened, which I know you did, because that was our last episode, and you've been hankering for a new episode for a week, we mentioned that we might do a $6,000 warm hatch challenge, and so
we
did that.
We did not lie to you.
So, what I call a warm hatch is a car. It's not quite a hot hatch, but it's still fun and good. So what we have is we have $6,000. We don't have to spend all of it. You can spend less than $6,000, but you can't go over that. You can't find a car that's like $6,100. So it has to be $6,000 or less. So here, for instance. Oh, did you go over?
I picked a car that was $6,500, but I'm very confident.
You can argue him down.
Very confident.
Okay, word. Yeah, something like that. That's fine. But if it's a car where it's like...
Well, if it was like 7 or more, I'm like, yeah, screw that.
If it's like, like in a Barth at like $6,100, then you're like, ooh, that's definitely going to be sold at exactly $6,100, not a penny less. Because like that's what people were to
Correct.
Were do. Also, a Barth is a hot hatch, not a warm hatch.
Fine.
So, I will start here with my 2002 R50 Mini 1. It is blue. It's got a Union Jack that is faded on the roof. It has the wheels that look like Mugen R&Rs, and it's got white
Missing the
mirror
center
caps. Yes, they are. It also has a salvage title.
Oh, perfect.
Yep, and it's $3,210.
And these have the Peugeot engines, right? So they're actually okay?
Yeah, I think so. It's got the non-turbo 4-cylinder. It's got the 2-spoke steering wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Oh, God.
I love that. It's got a manual transmission, which was the one thing I looked for.
And it has the tachometer option on the right spot.
Yes, exactly. So if you look, it's non-turbo. You can tell the non-turbo minis because they don't have the hood scoop on them. So
non-supercharged.
Or yeah, well, same thing. The turbo or supercharged. It's just the NA ones don't have the scoop on the hood, unless you
but R50 and R53.
Yeah, we're supercharged. Yes, and then the later ones, I think you could
R56 they want turbo.
I think the R56 you could still get an NA one.
You could.
Yes.
But it was a terrible NA engine made by BMW. So these actually have the good Peugeot ones.
You want the actual R50.
You want a first gen.
Yes, and that's a very, very cool car. And for $3,210, I can go and do all the fun bits and bobs. I can get that trim cleaned up so it's actually black.
And you can take side roads.
Yeah, I will enjoy the side roads.
Because it's in Iowa.
And also, it's got a salvage title, so I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, this car is perfect and lovely and good. No, I'm going to drive this car like it's meant to be driven. It is actually something that if I had that in available money, I would actually probably buy that right now.
It doesn't look too bad. Do you know why it was salvaged? I don't really care.
Don't care.
Right.
Or no.
I
didn't bother. It didn't bother. No idea. Probably it got into a car accident and just had
the hood got dented because it's a huge clamshell thing and it cost more than the car.
It like cracked the windshield and then the car was like KBB'd at $4,000 and it was like $2,200.
I don't know why that reminds me. I'm interject real quickly.
Yes.
I was driving down to Iowa. Wow.
Yeah.
I got an email finally on the Tesla hit and run. They finally accepted liability a month later.
Oh my God.
I hate insurance companies.
That's ridiculous.
But at least I'll get it fixed now. It's good.
That's good. But
Sorry.
yeah, so I think this would be a really, really, really good pick, and I would actually buy this right now. And I would immediately go just do some suspension work, maybe an intake on it, and call it a day. And I wouldn't even put an exhaust on it. I'd just make sure the AC works.
They are fun.
It'd be such a good fun car. So what would be your first choice?
My first choice, let me pull up the link here before I talk about it, is a car that looks very hot, but I promise you it's not. And
Okay.
I'm not reading this like a Dr. Seuss book. That's just that's just how it is. So at the turn of 1999, Toyota brought
that's not hot.
the 1ZZFE, which is an economy engine.
Yes.
It's a 1.8 fuel miser engine. They put teeny tiny bit bigger valves in it and shoved it in the MR2 Spider and the Celica GT,
Yes.
which looks very similar to the actually hot GTS, but it is not hot.
So did they like detune the engine computer or
No, it isn't a hot engine. It makes 138 horsepower.
That's not hot. No, that's
And
not hot at all.
The
It's
engine's
got the cool aftermarket
fine.
body kit though. That it kind of looks like a HKS or not HKS. It looks like a TRD Hyper kit.
TRD Phase 1 kit is what this has. Yep.
Oh, that is a TRD kit.
TRD Phase 1
I
kit.
really like what they did with the fenders. That's actually really cool.
I don't know.
I like that more than the later one. I really like that a lot.
The Celica of the early 2000s, honestly, it's a pretty good car. Every time I
It
see a
is an
clean GTS,
it's an
now, I'm like,
Integra. It's an Integra that doesn't get stolen. I like.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just as good as an Integra. Like this is in our car. It's on my short list, and I bought the Fiat. Like I kind of wanted something like this. It was just a little bit too big for the driveway, and that's kind of why I nixed it. Like I would still gladly buy one. And I've like whenever I see one, I go, man, I should actually buy one of those because these are really cool cars.
Talk about an actually good product that nobody talks about.
Any of those 2000s Toyotas that have the ZZ engines are actually quite good cars.
And up
like all
until
of
at least recently, where the MR2 at least started getting attention paid to it, these I think somebody will pay attention at some point.
I think so. Yeah.
But
I
right
think,
now,
I think if you are in the market for a like a 2000s era Toyota, a Celica Celica GTS or Corolla XRS or a Matrix XRS
or a Vibe GT.
or a Vibe GT, all of those are worth buying. I think the Vibe GT will probably be the last one to appreciate in value.
Yep.
But I think that it'll go, I think it's gonna go Celica, Matrix, Corolla. I think that's the way it's gonna go for as they appreciate.
Because the weirdos are going to be the ones that drag the value up. I think the Corolla is going to be number 2.
Okay, that's fair.
But they're extremely rare.
Yes,
and the
they are.
Matrices are not.
No, they're not. You're right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But
It's also why I think the Matrix might go because they're so unknown as people are going to discover the Matrix before they discover the Corolla
That's probably true.
because it also is a hatchback.
A Corolla XR in good condition. If one of those popped up and it wasn't insane money, like I bet that took E39 M5 production numbers. I bet they made almost none of them.
Yeah. And they are
Like-
extremely good.
So good, and it's so stupid.
When we got one on trade at Bring a Trailer, somebody had just like they needed to do like $2,000 of work and they didn't want to, and Bill was gonna scrap it. And I go, Bill, this is not a scrappable car, and he's like, it's a Matrix. I'm like, no, it's a Matrix XRS. Look at the tachometer. He goes, why does that go so high? I'm like, let's put some struts in this, put the brakes on it. I'm gonna have you take it out for a drive. He gets out of the car. He goes, what the fuck is going on with that? I'm like, yeah, trust me, it's a totally ridiculous
It's
engine.
the L.
I'm like, the Lotus was involved. It got really weird, and they stuffed the engine in the normal car. And he goes, well, we're definitely going to sell that, but for a hell of a lot more money than I intended originally. And then I think he sold it for like, $5K, and like the paint was shot. But like I wanted him to like sell it for like good money, and like the thing is like Bill always used to have like a good car ready to go for people that are going through treatment through AA. So like when people are coming out of rehab and everything,
Recovery,
recovery, or getting their like shit together.
Yeah.
They can get like a good, reliable, good car that can be serviced by a shop that's like owned literally by their sponsor, stuff like that. And like he's like fair. Like I think like 5 or 6 is like very fair for a totally sorted Matrix that has like bad paint.
Again, it's been done.
Yeah,
Like,
everything's perfect on
It
the
will
car.
run in spite of you.
Yeah,
it
and
will
like-
get you to your job
like,
until you are fully back in your.
He was originally a sell for like 2,000. I'm like, Bill, you're doing yourself a disservice, and somebody's gonna get something that's gonna be insane to insure for like $2,000 because like they're gonna expect it to be a vanilla one. It's not. And the thing is like, yeah, well, he had this this car for 6, and then he had like 3 like 2.0 Beetle automatics for like
Well, actually,
$1,500 a pop.
as far as VW powertrains go,
But I mean, like if you want a car for like getting your life back together, that's a pretty good car.
An ABA and the 4-speed auto, it's fine.
Yeah, and it was fun. It's a fun car. It'll give you a little like serotonin boost when you get into it. Like
you're not like ashamed to get out of a first gen.
No, it's a fun little goofy car, and like that's actually like one of the things. Like, and there's a billion of them. They're all cheap, and that's one of the reasons that Bill kept getting them, is because there's a billion of them, and they were like actually like they had really good response for people that were coming out of detox, as they were, they're like, oh man, everything sucks, but like I just got this like screaming deal on like an actually cute car, like that really helped him out. So it's like a really wholesome thing. But yeah, any of the 2ZZ and 1ZZ cars, all great cars.
I agree.
So for my choice, I'm gonna do this Giallo 500 Sport that I found.
Hold on, I'm pulling up the link.
And the reason I'm so excited about it, it's sold. It was so good of a price. I'm glad that it's sold, but yeah, they wanted $5,900 for this 2012 Fiat 500 Sport.
Nice.
In yellow.
Yep.
And it's manual.
The
and it has a
Sport's
sunroof.
such a good car.
Yeah, and it's got a sunroof too. So it's like just a perfect spec. I'm so here for this.
Loved my Sports.
I wish that I got a car with a color and a sunroof.
Manual climate too. Oh,
I know, it's so good. Yeah,
it's a
I
good
love
spec.
it.
Good spec.
Perfect spec. Like that is a really good way to spend $6,000 for a warm hatch. And like I don't have a penny left over, but as long as I know
only 83,000 miles.
There's a
on it,
reason
too?
this sold like that. I'm like, this is such a good car. It was like a buy here, pay here line.
I was gonna say that the dealer doesn't look like my favorite kind of spot, but
the dealer had no clue what they were sitting on. Like, there's a good reason that sold when it did.
these are phenomenal.
Yeah, I would save up, get different wheels, and maybe like a sway bar or something. I don't know. They handle pretty well. Anyway.
The intakes make them sound great. So
yeah,
definitely do the intake.
An intake, and actually no, not a sway bar. It'd actually do lowering springs.
Springs are easy. Sway bars are almost impossible.
Okay.
They're buried like above the subframe.
Oh, fuck that. Nope.
Awful. Never do that.
Nope. Doing springs. I would lower it with some springs.
Tint it.
And no tent, because I hate having
tint
the. I don't want to have the whole point of the sunroof is I absolutely hate feeling like I'm in a cave.
You and I hate sunroofs. I love tint. You love sunroofs. You hate tint.
I want a big glass house, and that's a big glass house.
And it's yellow.
Yes, it's a color.
And the dash is yellow because that's how Fiat rolls.
Yes, it's so good.
I love it. I love the color keyed dashes.
Yep, that's super good. 10 out of 10.
All
so
right. I have one more pick.
What's your last pick?
And this one I actually picked first. But
this is a class of car I'm so excited about.
Stand by this decision because I know you have driven a 2.5 liter Mazda powered. What the hell?
Wait.
Why did that not link? Uh-oh.
Let me work on your link.
Okay. So anyway, I picked a second gen Mazda 3. I think it might have even been the first year of it. But the 2.5.
It just really wants you to log into Facebook for some reason.
We talked about the 2.5 because of your van.
Yes.
Vanagon Skywalker.
Super
This is
good.
that same engine, and it's in a Mazda 3, which is a lightly warmed over version of the exact same car as the first gen, which is a great driver's car.
It is such a good car. I'm just trying to get that link to work.
It is a gray, old Mazda with faded headlights, but like the 2.5 makes good power. That's not a heavy car. It's cheap to insure. It's very fun to drive. The 2.5 liter Mazda 3 is a car I recommend to people when they don't want a TSX. Those are my go-to.
It's a very, very good car. Oh, it's because the listing doesn't exist anymore. The car sold.
It's sold between this morning. I checked the link earlier.
No, it's sold instantly. Hey, try taking everything after that question mark away.
All right, let's try this.
Yep, and then delete the question mark as well.
Okay.
And then click enter. No, click enter. No, right there. There you go. Now try clicking on the link. Balls. Yeah, it's gone. Oh, well.
Anyway, it was listed.
It was gray. It was manual at a 2.5.
Yep.
Man.
Manual 2.5.
How much was it?
This was the one I was confident I could get for $6,000. It was listed for $6,500.
Oh, you could easily get that for $6,000. Because they rust constantly. You just look in your car for
This
2
one
seconds.
wasn't rusty.
Yeah, but I guarantee you there's rust.
It was going to. Oh, yeah.
No, there will be rust on it.
The fade indicated to me that it potentially came from the south, so it got all the downside of the faded paint and the headlights being basically non-transparent anymore, and then it'll rust next winter.
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, you just you take them and you just do basically the thickest undercoating you possibly can.
Yes.
My mom actually, she has a Mazda 2, which is a Mazda Demio, very good car. And
I assume that's more than $6,000. Otherwise, that would be a great.
no,
pick, too.
they're cheap.
Really?
Very cheap.
Or the Toyota version of that too.
Yeah, the Yaris. But so she
I
had
meant Scion. Sorry, my bad.
yeah, the Scion is it's also Yaris actually. Fun fact.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
That was called a Yaris sedan. But anyway, so her car was actually rusting the rocker panels really bad, and she could not find another car she really liked. So she actually just spent $2,000 and fixed all the rust. And like I went over it with the weakest magnet I possibly could, and the magnet stuck consistently. Like they didn't just like fill it with body filler.
Nice.
It was like $2,000, a really good shop like down in Bloomington. It's like I think it's called Auto Body. It's some
Body body.
the guy was from I know the guy is from Honduras.
I love Honduras.
Yeah, and he's just a really cool dude. Yeah, they did great work, and
We
it was
will
very
see more
very
of
cheap.
that.
Good. Of
People loving
fixing-
their
yeah.
car and not liking the new bullshit.
Yeah, and no, that's exactly what she does. Like she's like, I can't find a car that I like. Like she really likes the 500. The seat position, my dad doesn't quite fit in.
The bread van. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't fit as well inside the 500, and there's no
Even
rear
with the
door.
sunroof car?
Even with this, well, in the sunroof he does fit.
Okay.
But the no rear doors was the killer for it.
Oh, sure.
That's why she chose the Mazda over
Fiesta
that.
ST?
Then you're getting into a hot hatch where she doesn't want to have to live with that.
No, you're right.
See, that's what I mean. Like that's why I love this category of car. It's like
the early Fiesta 1.6.
yeah,
hatch.
and then you have the terrible interior.
Also same platform as her current car. Never
Yeah,
mind.
and a worse interior.
Yep.
So she's just like,
Yep.
the
No,
only
I
solution
understand.
is this car because a Yaris holds its value like crazy. And
Is she the person who bought like 5 Honda Elements?
no, so my mom has had a very strange back and forth history of cars.
Well, I know she had the Fit forever.
So this is her history of what I know what she's owned. Her first car was a 71 Celica.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, very good
Hell
car.
yeah.
Yeah, that was her first car she actually owned. Prior to that, she drove her mom's Edsel. But she has 71 Celica, and then she had a Mercedes 240 non-diesel manual, like the 70s 240 sort of thing.
230 or 250?
230 then.
Okay.
Yeah, 230, the 4-cylinder.
Okay, yep.
But a manual one of those.
Hell yeah.
And then she
I
got
didn't know your mom was cool. What the hell?
yeah, then she got a Dodge Caravan panel van
Oh.
because
What
she
year
was
was that?
like 1985. Wow. Because she was a traveling salesperson who did like high-end fashion.
Okay.
So
Def Target. I can see that,
Sergio Tangini, I think is his name. About like it was like basically like, hey, would you like to buy a tracksuit for $300? It's made of velvet. Like she sold those sort of things. Like
Okay.
those like totally insane like 1980s like tracksuits and like ski suits.
I just watched War Games last night.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Yeah, so that's what she sold. And then after that, so she had that. Then what'd she have? She had that until she had me, and then she got a Chevy Citation.
Citation.
Which is weird because like she's like cool car, weird car, bad car,
Yeah.
and then she got a Ford Contour
Oh yeah.
with a manual.
Hell yeah.
Very good car.
4-cylinder?
Yeah, because she is
Z-Tech?
it is just the cheapest one you can get. So yeah, Ford Contour,
does he
and then
have-
after the Contour, she got a Hyundai Tiburon.
Oh, I remember that car.
Yeah, awesome car.
Wow.
Hyundai Tiburon.
Wow. I've known you for way too
Yes.
long.
So she had-
Entirely too long.
She had a Hyundai Tiburon in which she then traded the Tiburon for the Fit.
Yep.
Had the Fit until she got this car. So
Yep.
she's like,
We've talked about the Fit on this show.
yes,
like a
and
bunch.
so yeah, so she's been like actively her entire life has basically been like, I would like a 71 Celica with 4 doors. Like,
But you don't have that? Well, what do you have?
yeah, what I need, and then like occasionally she'll get something that's like an actual like absolute requirement is like she needs to have like, all right, a panel van for her job, or like then like her mom car for being a mom, and then like immediately got out of that. And as soon as she could find a coupe that had a back seat that was reasonable, she got into it. So yeah, that's
First gen Tib. Pretty good.
Really pre-facelift too, when it actually looked good. Like, that's a very cool, good car. So
I remember when those first came out, it was a very polarizing design, but it's one of the ones that aged into looking good.
it is a car that I think nobody appreciated in the era.
100%.
I know I didn't.
Well, that's why they're like all gone.
Like, well, the thing is, like, when she first got it, like, I appreciated it. I'm like, this car I feel like will eventually be worth money.
Yeah.
And I was right. I was off by 10 years for when they appreciated in value.
Sure.
But I now think that I'm like, these are definitely something like this. There is buzz about them.
Was that a hatchback?
Yes, they were.
That might be a decent warm hatch.
Doesn't exist, unfortunately.
I
There's
know,
like 5 of them left in the
I
world.
was gonna say yes. If you could find one for sale, it probably
Every
would be
single
less
one
than
had
$6,000.
every single one was purchased, and the engine was yanked out to be put in a DSM because it was just the Ford G63.
The first gen never had the 2.7 option, did it?
No,
It was
they're just
all
Ford
four-cylinder.
G63s. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the best one. Yeah, everything after that was worse.
Yeah.
The second generation was terrible.
So
the
that was
third
the
gen was
2.7,
even
right?
worse. Yeah, they had the
Second gen was the
4-cylinder or a 2.7. Yeah.
Okay.
But all the other Tiburons were terrible. Only the first gen, only the pre-facelift. That is a car where every single update of the car made it objectively worse.
Well, let's be real. There's a lot of cars where we've even talked about
Yeah,
that.
but that is a car where it's like every single update was a drastic step down from the one before it.
Okay, you're right.
That's what I mean. Like
Drastic
yeah,
changes,
just
yeah.
like this is bad. This is not good. This is much worse. This is even worse than you made it before. Kill it now.
I loved how the second gen Tib looked, but then I looked at the specs. I'm like, ooh, no. Nope.
Not a good car.
Nope, out of that.
Yep.
I have no segue for this one, but let's talk
Saab?
about Saab. Apparently,
I can tell you right now from that roofline that would be a Saab. That's a Saab roofline.
it is a Saab roofline. This thing kind of looks like a Lucid. The biggest.
So wait,
kind of,
Saab's coming back?
So hold on.
What?
This is an actual vehicle that runs and drives and has been in the hands of the press
Oh,
for almost a year, and I had no idea.
sounds like Saab.
Exactly. So
Makes its tracks.
174 kilowatt hours. The battery's almost twice the size of the biggest Model S.
What?
424 horsepower. So like it's the same power as the lowest end. So like this thing is designed to be the quirky daily do what it promises car. And even Top Gear UK has done a segment on this and I had no idea.
What?
The thing about this car that I
Wha-
hate the most is the fact that apparently it's known and I had no idea.
Why doesn't this exist on the road in the United States?
I don't know.
Does it exist on the road in Europe?
Nope. They're only pre-production cars.
What? The...
But it
Oh, okay. No, we have talked about NEVS, but I didn't know that they had done anything with that.
so this is the NEVS.
Yes. So that's the thing is we've talked about them announcing the NEVS,
Oh, okay.
but they have not said a peep about it being in production. We just said that it was planned.
So apparently that looks like a pretty much production-ready vehicle to me. So maybe they just went ahead and did it, and
Yeah,
just didn't
apparently.
tell anyone. But
Oh, because they're owned by Evergrande. Oh,
they got passed around a fair bit. But yeah, the fact that this
Okay.
is now owned by a company that clearly has the resources
To make it.
to make an EV, which all Chinese-backed companies do, and
Yes.
it's going to be good because. Let's be real. They make way more EVs than anyone else in the country.
It will send my information, but as long as it goes to the CCP and not to my insurance agent, I don't care because I don't live in China. So, like,
That's a hot take, but I get behind it.
I would rather my driving information go to the CCP
God, that's
than
like-
to my
okay,
insurance
so we're in
agent.
an election year right now, and everyone's targeting the CCP as a bad thing. Meanwhile, we're here like, as long as my info gets sold to those guys and not insurance companies, that should tell you just how far down the food chain.
I don't trust them. but
Insurance companies,
I'll-
insurance is a scam.
what's the CCP gonna do?
Well, I don't know.
Absolutely
Make
nothing
a
at all.
TikTok about how hard you drive? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's a funny thing. Is like there's a TikTok that I saw. Is like what people expect TikTok to be, and it's just like a bunch of people dancing around with mouths, a little red book with like red sun in the sky playing in the background. And then what TikTok really is, and it's the history of the Civil War as explained by cats.
I saw a similar post, and it was on, I think, Instagram, but it was showing about TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's like, what you think TikTok is, and it was very similar to that. But then it showed the most popular current TikTok, and it was like somebody making bacon or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just like this most nonsensical, didn't matter thing.
No, TikTok is fine. It's just as a social media platform. I don't care if they're.
I hate it, but I don't want anyone to ban it because when you ban shit, that just turns into too much.
And
oppression.
that's exactly my issue with this. Is like I don't think that you should be banning people's social media platforms. Like True Social should not have been it should not be banned. It sucks, and it should be allowed to fail on its own merits.
So should we be banning insurance companies giving our drive data?
Well, yeah, that's different. It's not a First Amendment thing.
I suppose.
I think that we should just it's a difference between the First Amendment of like saying no, you straight up cannot use this app. It's different than
Can we
saying,
block TikTok from selling your data to
then
people then?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, like selling data is different than First Amendment.
Okay.
Speech, yeah. So I'm totally in favor of First Amendment stuff. Like you should have your shitty social media app if you want it, do it. You should not be allowed to ban it because you're unhappy with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. One more thing before we move on to the next topic.
Yes.
This uses like RMIS front motor technology, so it actually uses hub motors.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So no axles or anything like that, and
Just hub motors.
That's why this is only
And a whole ass load of unsprung weight.
That's why this is only 424 horsepower. The motors are actually quite small, compact, and light. So yes, that was my first thought too. Is like, oh, great. It's gonna hit a pothole. It's gonna destroy the wheel. Nope. No, actually, I seriously have to imagine the brain trust that made the RMIS wheel motor technology that's super lightweight and powerful has to have been the same people, or they copied it in China and just sold it in this car. I don't know. But
Is it actually like the wheel bolts immediately up to the motor?
no, there's still a friction brake disc and caliper.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
that all
but
be
yes,
on the hub.
that's all on
It's
the
all
same-
actually on the hub. Because like I could understand it where it's like, okay, you don't have a differential, but you have two hub motors that are mounted inboard.
No, it's not like a
with
Rivian.
an axle that goes to it.
No,
so then
no
your-
axles.
So then your unsprung weight is not affected because that's actually mounted, and that's the pivot
But the
point.
upside, very excellent turning radius because
Cool.
no CV shafts.
Yeah, no, you can just turn the
And
wheel as much as you want.
Again,
Future
like,
drift car.
You don't need. Well, it's only 424 horsepower. 100 horsepower an axle, or per corner.
Yeah.
It's plenty. It is plenty.
Yes.
It's like the same power as my car.
But I mean, that technology could be.
Ooh, yeah, we learned from the Toyota rear electric drive thing that like it's quite detuned.
Yes.
You can make a lot of power, but I like a lot of that tech, and Saab is wonky as frig, and bad cars are good, so I want more of that information, please.
Yeah, as long as they're not selling my information to people that can negatively affect me. So
Which is your insurance company, and I guarantee they're not selling information to your insurance company.
perfect. Well, Xi Jinping can know exactly how often I go to Popeyes. Anyway, so I was
fine.
blown away yesterday.
Okay.
Absolutely, completely blown away.
By what?
Oh shit! You need to log in with. Oh wait, no, you don't. Never mind. You don't have to log in. Scroll down. Scroll down some more. Oh, thank God, there it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
Sorry.
now I'll bring it up on the screen.
Yes. This insanely big jump in value graph is the graph for Dusenberg non-supercharged Model Js sold at auction. I was under the impression they were still depreciating.
So,
And also,
okay, reserve not met for red. I got you.
it's
Okay.
but the thing is, all right, you go, okay, this is clearly moving up. Now look on the right at the scale.
Oh!
Yes, that's the scale in which these are rising in value.
So these are being purchased by the unbelievably wealthy.
Yes. So now, if you look at, so the first entry was just from 2019. If you just hover over that little green dot, that is a 1934 Duesenberg Model J, Prince of Wales, Berlin, $450,500.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So maybe let's go just a little bit higher and go to. All right. So this is a very, very, very desirable one. This is a 1930 Duesenberg Model J convertible sedan by Murphy. Coach built bodywork, very good.
Convertible sedan. I understand
yes.
it applies here. Wow.
Yeah, very cool car. So you can see that there's, all right, clearly there's a difference here of, about $500,000 between the very good ones and the very meh ones. However, now if you look at, let's look in 2023, let's look at the cheapest sold Duesenberg Model J. Right there.
In 23, it's this.
Well, yes. So the absolute cheapest one sold in 2023 was a 1931 Dusenberg Model J convertible sedan by LeBaron. LeBaron is the factory coach builder, so that is for normal vanilla bodywork, and that was $1 million. $1,550,000.
1 million with 50 Mirages on top.
Yes, exactly. That is quite the jump from 700,000. Sorry, 450. It went $500,000 since the pandemic. Is appreciated
And
in value.
the car market has softened since the pandemic,
especially for blue chips like these. Because as a reminder, like people are not as well off, and so yeah, now they're 2 million, 4 million for them. Yeah.
What is
Again, Murphy bodywork, Durham bodywork, and now if you scroll, maybe that bottom one, right, the very very bottom one. All right, so that one is still LeBaron bodywork. It's a dual cal Phaeton, and that was 1.1 million last year. So in 2024, let's look at the two that have sold this year. There is one that sold for 2.6. Oh my God. Again, factory bodywork. Of course, that's a disappearing top convertible, which is pretty cool. It's a hard top convertible. Jesus Christ. And then there's the $4 million one, which is a Murphy bodywork.
Another disappearing top.
It's 3.8 million. I'm sorry, but I was really hoping that one day I'd be able to get like a shitty LeBaron bodied Duesenberg, but apparently fucking not.
Well,
And these are the non-supercharged ones, by the way. These are the relatively slow ones.
the crap.
So if you scroll up to the top of the screen and you go to the Duesenberg SJ, click that 32 to 37, and you scroll back down.
There aren't very many, as it turns out.
This is click on the 5-year just to make sure we're on the 5-year. All right, so yeah, this is the 5-year. Okay.
There have been 3.
Yes, in 5 years. So 2020 was 781,000 for a 1929 Murphy hardtop, 2.9 for a Victoria bodied, and then 3 million for a Legrand bodied convertible. Boy, that's a supercharged one. Talk about, we were talking about last episode about how Bugatti like set precedents for like race cars.
Yeah.
Like, I guess this is the result of what happens when you have a car that's exactly 100 years old. And because remember, every single Duesenberg Model J was made in 1927. They were just sold throughout the 30s. They overproduced them in the Great Depression.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, every single one was made in 1927, and it took them until like 1939 to sell all of them.
So every chassis was actually produced in 1927?
Yeah. But so this is the thing.
That's a cool fact.
Yeah. This is a car that's 100 years old, and it's still absolutely daily drivable. And it is still objectively a better luxury car than most entry-level Euro luxuries today. Like, you get more out of a 1929 Duesenberg than you get out of a BMW, like, 1 Series or a CLA, like, 250.
Oh, also, fun fact, BMW has a 22-month dealer lot supply of the X2 right now.
I love that good.
I also love that.
They're never, ever going to sell those because they suck.
These pieces of shit.
Good. I don't feel bad about that.
No,
but like
the no pre-war guy, would rather daily drive.
Yeah, no,
a
like
Duesenberg.
genuinely, like, would you like to have a form of air conditioning? Would you like to have anti-lock brakes of the sort? Would you like to have a radio? Would you like to have a refrigerated beverage holder? Would you like to have dual zone climate control?
Ryan, where will I plug in my progressive snapshot?
You don't.
Oh, excellent.
There's none.
Excellent. So you're saying that if I buy a Duesenberg, I will not have any sort of data transmission issues?
You really hate commuting, right?
Like you do, which is why I drive an electric car.
Yes, you drive a self-driving car. And the worst part about commuting in a manual transmission car is having to constantly shift between first and second and everything because you're in gridlock and you have to sit there and ride your clutch and everything, right?
Yes, but I don't deal with traffic ever.
But let's say you do.
Yes.
Duesenberg, you can throw it in third gear, the top gear. There's enough torque in top gear in the transmission to not have to shift in traffic. The other gears are just to make you accelerate faster. The cars have enough torque. If you go wide open throttle, if you like clutch dump in third gear, it will do a burnout in third gear. That's a fucking awesome car.
It's many, many torques.
Yeah, it's
Even in a non-blown one?
Yes,
Very
both
good.
of them. The blown one just does a bigger burnout.
I did hover over the most expensive non-supercharged one, which sold in 2021 for $5.725 million.
It's a great looking car, though. So, for instance, the Dusenberg SJ had 320 horsepower.
Jesus.
They weighed I think 5,000 pounds. So,
But it also had probably 700 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, the engines were huge.
getting to that. For the non-supercharged, they had 425 pound-feet of torque. And at that point in time, they didn't have a way of accurately measuring factory torque for the supercharged ones.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's be real. 1,000 horsepower capable chassis dynos haven't been around that long.
425 pound-feet of torque is incredible. And, yeah, that for a car like that, that is great. And also, the tires are this one.
I was going to say.
The very small tires.
That's kind of where I was going with the
There's a
third gear
reason
clutch dump.
that you can clutch dump in them and do a burnout with 425 pound-feet of torque, and then you can just, let the car idle forward. It's just hilarious, these cars. They're so silly. The power to weight ratio for them was not accurate based on this. Disregard.
Entirely not correct.
Yep, that is not a correct thing. But they made 46 horsepower per liter, which is actually quite good.
Wow, especially on the compressor ratio, the fuels at the
Yes.
time. We've had talks about that for a
Yes.
long time. The fuel was shit
You
until
just have whatever the fuck fuel's available, and it'll run an 88. The only reason you don't put 88 into a Duesenberg is because the ethanol content will actually hydrolock the engine.
great.
Yes, or not hydrolock. I'm sorry, vapor lock the carburetors.
Oh yeah, because the low boiling point.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
I know we had almost a full episode on fuels, but what was the approximate year where fuel became regulated and decent in this country? Wasn't it the 80s?
Yes.
I thought so.
And then they regulated the measurement system in the 50s.
Jesus Christ.
And then avgas is just make it higher octane.
Great. Makes me feel really
That's
good
your avgas.
about being in the air with pistons.
This is also predated leaded gasoline.
Really?
When they made the Lycoming inline 8. Yeah. They predated leaded gas. So it also dual red cam inline 8.
Oh yeah.
It's not your normal L head engine. This is if you took what Bugatti was doing in Europe and then you made that on an American scale to make just a land yacht that's as comfortable as perfect as possible, that's what they did.
With all
also,
of the tech.
Fuck, that is it. That's the one I want. I want 1929 Duesenberg Model J Berlin hardtop. Look at that. That's incredible.
Skirted rears.
God damn it.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Ryan. Although this is far from the most expensive, it is $2.26 million.
Imagine being Jeff Bezos not daily driving that thing. I would absolutely buy a whole bunch of apartments in the Bay Area, and I'd go pick up rent by hand.
In 30
driving
years,
that while wearing a top hat.
I just want to daily the Z8.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good daily. But yeah, there's a reason
Or the
these
Phantom,
cars.
fuck it.
I'm really happy that these cars are worth what they're worth. This is one of the cars I should never ever be able to afford because
But
there's
also-
a great problem with the world if I can afford a Duesenberg.
Oh yeah. That will never be reality.
Either I'm making way too much money for what I'm doing, or that car has a serious issue with the market.
But this graph here, before we move on, young people are still interested in old cars.
Yes, right there. Yeah, that nobody who is interested in nobody that grew up with these cars is alive.
Correct.
My grandma grew up with these cars, and she just died.
Correct.
That, the average person that grew up with this car is 100 years old.
And your grandma likely wasn't driving the year she died. So.
No, she wasn't. She quit driving in 2006.
Okay.
Now, there's one more Duesenberg I want to show you.
Okay.
I've scroll up again. I'm sorry. Now, if you click the SSJ, this is the one with multiple carburetors. And there's none in the last 5 years. There was one that sold, and it was sold for all of the money.
I believe you.
It was $10 million, I think.
I assume it's the one that they have a picture of.
Yeah. There's two.
Okay, there are two. Okay, so what is the second S mean? Super.
22 million is what it sold for.
Does it
Yes.
have two superchargers on it then?
I believe so, actually.
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
trying to get to it. It was the fastest pre-World War II production car in the world. That's what it is.
So it's the Monteverde high speed, but before the war.
Yeah, basically, it's an incredible vehicle. Just all Dusenbergs are great. I fucking love them. Every time somebody tries to talk to me about Packard, I just have no time for it.
I'm like, yeah, well, they were the American manufacturer of the Rolls Royce. Great, I don't care.
I don't care.
do
This is
not
the
care.
Bentley. Like, the Packard was the Rolls
Yeah.
Royce. This is the Bentley. This is the better version in the era.
In the era, absolutely.
Today, Rolls Royce is better than Bentley.
Correct.
But back then, Bentley, up until the 2000s, was better than Rolls Royce.
I agree. Yeah, until the Phantom came out. Oh my god.
The
not even
Phantom
close. The early Arnage was actually a pretty good car.
Then you had the Bentley Turbo R or whatever. Yes, very good.
No, Turbo R I think predated the Arnage. The Arnage was the same basic car, but they facelifted it.
Yes.
And then there was a lot of Ford componentry that they put into that, which made it more reliable, but worse, and therefore
Still turbo.
still a Turbo
V8,
Bentley.
yeah.
Those are cheap.
They are.
Those are very cheap.
Darren almost bought one at a buy here, pay here in Seattle, and I've been telling him to buy it. All the problems are electrical. He's an electrical engineer.
He would probably be fine.
He's the only person that can buy a buy here, pay here Bentley.
if it's mechanically okay.
Supposedly. Who the fuck knows?
They made one engine for 60 years. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Parts
it'll be
do
okay.
actually exist for those.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And you can make it reliable. And you just like...
It's again, the engine is probably fine. I mean,
Yeah.
those were
I'm sure you can make it reliable.
they're Bosch injection. It'll be
Because
okay.
it's just a Rover V8, which is a Buick, right?
No.
It's not a
No,
Rover?
it dates back to the 60s. It is a bespoke aluminum overhead valve, 16 valve.
Oh shit! Never mind. You can't
6.75.
make it better.
But the-
I was to say you just put nailhead in, it'll be fine. But that's not. I'm just
the
doing
engine's
that.
actually okay.
Okay, that's good.
like-
It's just shit around the engine. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. I'm glad I don't. That's a car I don't want to know what I'm talking about with. I want to like peer pressure my friends into buying it. I don't want to fucking know a thing about it. I
why I
just
never-
want to watch them have little success stories.
The Turbo R and like the Silver Seraph. Those are just cars that are like, yeah, I'm aware of it.
Yeah, I'm happy that you
You
have
should
that.
absolutely buy that car.
Somebody else should buy this car immediately. Anyway,
You know, I talked about BMW having a 22-month supply of the X2.
yes,
I think that's because they make really bad decisions for the U.S. market.
they make bad decisions about everything because BMW is not a good company anymore.
They do. The last two positive things I've talked about, BMW and Carbitrage, are the 5 Series electric wagon, which isn't fully confirmed to not be coming here, but it'd be great if they did, because electric wagons are awesome and I want one. And then there was the Neue Klasse, that really fucking cool 4-door hatchback that
gonna-
kind of looked like a
I can tell
2002.
you there, fuck up both of those.
The wagon I'm sure is not coming here. And yeah, wouldn't you know it, they turned it into a crossover and they made it worse.
That's bad.
That just looks like an XM that they put like a
what do you mean
caricature.
it looks like?
It's an XM that they just caricature. Just BMW, stop it, man.
Imagine being a modern BMW enthusiast.
No.
Like I just don't get like imagine like
Not
the
interested.
F90 or whatever the fuck is like
cares?
the cool car to you. Like how is that the car? Like I just don't get it. Like how do you look at modern BMW and go this is better in any way than an E36 M3?
Oh, yeah, and even that,
I know.
bad one too, and like,
But
that's,
I'll
that's
say
still better.
because everybody that likes those new BMWs loves E36.
Oh, you're right.
But like, how is that the like? It's just not a good brand.
No, I was just thinking. Oh, don't worry, they put X after it. It's the Neue Klasse X.
I hate that.
I am so angry.
That's a bad thing.
I am BMW. Stop it.
So here's another thing that's not BMW. Let's talk about
Thank
somebody
you.
else.
Yeah,
that's
no, great. This
fallen
is
from
way
grace.
better.
Honda and Nissan, which
Aw.
also this is an
Look at this
incredible
Figaro.
photo that they were able to do. And Ben took that photo.
Wow.
So Honda and Nissan have apparently decided to enter a strategic partnership. The Japanese government was trying to get Honda and Nissan to merge for a long time.
That sounds like a really bad idea.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Honda's like an independent car manufacturer
Okay.
from the rest of the world, and they don't sell anything in Japan. Like nobody buys Hondas in Japan because they suck. They sell all their cars in America,
Well, a lot of them are made here too, so
which
yeah.
makes sense. Like Honda is a car brand for America. And then if you scroll down, they have one of my favorite Nissans, the Nissan or the Datsun, I think DB3. That is
That's
it.
sweet.
Yes, very good. They 1950s car that I can't find any information on it. It's just cool as hell, and like that's like the last one left, like literally the last one left.
I'm guessing that's probably the nicest condition one, and it's been left
Yeah,
alone.
it is because it's the one of one left registered in Japan, and the only place they were sold. So it's literally the last one left.
Is that license plate blurred out, or is that just its actual like single character license plate number?
That one's blurred out.
Oh, okay.
And the reason it's blurred out is in Japan, sometimes you actually can find people's personal information. That guy has like the one of one car.
So he doesn't want people coming by his home.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so Japan's trying to make this happen, and like both companies for like the last 5 years have like rejected several attempts immediately. However, now there's a strategic partnership, which is not a merger, but it's a strategic partnership. It's completely different.
So is that like Toyota Subaru strategic partnership?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
So like for reference, all of Honda sells fewer cars than Daihatsu.
In Japan?
Yes.
Whew. I mean, Daihatsu makes a lot of K cars that are fantastic, but
Just K cars though. Honda makes everything for everyone, and they sell fewer cars in Japan than Daihatsu.
so there are very few Honda Everys.
There's Honda nothings.
I'm glad that was audible because oh my god, my head just slumped in shame.
But yeah, so over the years, like all the Japanese manufacturers have been kind of like merging to survive.
Okay.
And Honda's been kind of holding out. Like Honda's like when they do have a partnership, they make like very left field choices, like merging with Rover, or not merging, but having a partnership with Rover or
that.
GM or like
Sterling.
Sony, like just like weird shit like that. And so the like
Honda
I
Magic Chef.
mentioned that they were working with GM briefly to make like an EV sort of thing, and that's actually what Honda and Nissan are doing because Nissan has great EV tech,
They do.
and Honda has great robot tech. So Honda can do the driving aids, autonomous modes, and shit like that. And Nissan can make the EV powertrain. But also, they've alluded to their next generation flagship, like NSX and GTRs, that will both be electric.
Are they going to platform share?
That's what we're wondering is like, is this going to be a shared platform sort of thing? 'Cause that'd be kind of cool.
Interesting.
So yeah, it sounds interesting. This could be absolutely cursed and awful and bad, but this could also be very cool and good. And also kind of playing off of this. So I mentioned very briefly a moment ago that Honda had a strategic merger partnership thing with Rover, right?
Yes.
And they actually made extremely cool D-series valve covers.
Oh, for the Sterlings?
Yes, not necessarily for Sterling, but if you look up Rover D16 valve cover. Images. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Those are great looking valve covers. I was trying to find one the entire time I had my CRX. I could not find a single cam.
Wow.
I wanted that single cam so bad. That's an extremely good valve cover.
Yeah.
But-
okay. So people can say the word timeless. We throw that around
Yeah.
way too much. That's actually timeless.
That's a great valve cover.
It's a valve cover. It's a piece of metal with strikes on it.
Yeah.
And it says the number of valves on it.
It's perfect.
If you add, you could add firing order if you really wanted to be perfection.
Oh, that'd be very cool. However, so what if I told you that? All right. Well, we have to go back a moment before I tell you what Honda did.
Okay.
Rover was part of British Leyland. British Leyland also encompassed Austin, which made the Mini Cooper. Mm-hmm. The Austin Mini was also sold in Italy as the Innocenti Mini, right?
Okay.
You're familiar with Innocenti?
No, I'm not.
All right, Control T, Innocenti Mini.
How do you spell Innocenti?
Innocenti. Innocent I. There you go.
Whatever. Innocenti. Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's just a white label.
Different front end.
Oh, okay.
Very cool, different front end. And then they also made the Metro and stuff. There's a cool Fast Boy Metro right down there. The
I'm
white
working
one.
on
Yeah,
it.
that one. Yes, that's the Fast Boy Metro. Oh, that one right there. The Di Tommaso right there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's the one you want. There's like 3 pixels on that photo, but that'll be fine. There we go. Cool. So yeah, that's your Fast Boy one.
Look at how good of a time this fellow is
Oh,
having.
yeah. Talking about a warm hatch. That's it. That's so fun. That looks, I want to drive that.
This is my summer car right here.
So when Honda purchased their partnership sort of thing with British Leyland to partner with Rover, they'd almost actually just outright purchased Innocenti
Okay.
in Italy. And Honda's European headquarters, instead of being in the UK, would have been in Italy.
Oh, boy.
This happened in 1979. So,
That would have been interesting.
you know, everybody says the point in which, like, the timeline diverged and everything went bad is, like, Reagan. The point in which the timeline merged and everything went bad was 1979, when Honda did not partner with Innocenti. That would have been the time.
Instead of Rover.
Imagine what Italian Euro Honda would be like today.
An Italian-bodied Honda-powered vehicle.
Like, the Honda, like, the Civic Type R would have been in a Barth instead of, like,
Mugen or something.
Like, it's what no, it would have still been a Mugen thing, but instead of being like the weird, like, not quite like Cosworth sort of thing, it would have been a Barth version.
Oh my god!
Like, it would have been so much cooler.
I want to see that.
They totally fucking ruined the world by not doing that.
Have there ever been Italian-Japanese car manufacturer commingling or like resource sharing before?
Yeah,
Was it good?
it was the Alpha Sud.
So it wasn't good.
No,
Okay.
they did it backwards. Nissan did the bodywork, and Alfa Romeo did the engine. So that was poorly.
Let me rephrase. Has there ever been a sharing where they've gone the correct way, where the Italians do the styling and the Japanese?
Yes, there has been.
Okay.
The Isuzu 117.
Okay, that sounds like it's probably pretty good.
Look it up. It's real good. Look up early Isuzu 117 in particular. You want the round headlight boy. That one. That 117 coupe.
This guy?
You can go back up. Nope, just go to the Wikipedia page. Yep, you can just go straight to the Wikipedia page too, because there's a lot of stuff that you want to hear about. Dual overhead cam, inline 4, 5-speed manual, limited slip rear end. Yeah, that's what. Imagine that in the 90s and being a Honda. Also, that one was rear-wheel drive. But
Do they rust badly?
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, what are you thinking? Come on.
Italian body. I figured.
It's an Italian-bodied Japanese vehicle. A sporty Japanese vehicle, for that matter.
Do they rust badly? Oh, well, yeah.
Come on. What?
What are Japanese and Italian cars known for? Well,
Yeah, no, they're not known for staying together.
But it was good while it lasted, right?
Oh, they're incredible. They made them until 1981, and they were they were replaced with the Piazza. The original version of 1.6 twin cam is a G180N. Actually, fun fact, it was the engine that was in the Isuzu Gemini ZZT, the one I really like.
Oh my god.
You know, the really good version of the Chevette.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then they went all the way up to a 2-liter fuel injected version on that. Bosch fuel injection, for that matter.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. They had a twin carb single cam. That's a 1.8 liter and a twin cam with fuel injection. They had 3-speed automatic, 4-speed manual, 5-speed manual. They even had diesel version, which is, I love diesel coupes. I think they're silly. Yeah, they're absolutely fantastic.
The diesel run of Aventime then.
You might actually like the square headlight car too, the later ones.
I did see that.
Yeah, the second facelift cars looked pretty good.
Okay, close the tab. Whoops. Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, no. It was designed by Giugiaro, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, but it was also designed. I believe there was some sort of partnership with Fiat when they were coming up with it, because the Fiat 124
Well, they had
coupe
good,
and everything.
very modern and high-tech running gear at the time.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't
exactly,
surprise me if
yeah.
a lot of that was done by Fiat.
I don't see anything on that, but I remember seeing that in passing, just when I was doing some other research. There's some sort of commingling. But yeah, there have been things like that. So just imagine something similar to that as the EP3 Type R.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of being the EP3 Type R. Like, imagine what you would have had. It would have been so good.
Oh, man.
Like, at that point in time, you had the Fiat Uno Abarth. Like, yeah, there were way cooler cars in Italy at that
It would have been
point
like
in
a
time.
pre-tuned...
The EP3 would have been incredible. I think that if Honda had put their European headquarters in Italy, it would have absolutely changed the world. Like, for the better.
Yeah, it would have had like
The
Alfa Romeo styling, and it would have had a K-series.
The Japanese golden age of cars would have never ended.
Well, here we are. They
Yep.
made the wrong decision.
Yep, and that's Honda. So Honda's just the BMW of Japan.
Well, at least they're not the Mercedes of Japan, which is continuing that same formula today of a
Oh,
very
God.
high-tech twin-cam four-cylinder and then putting it in a...
A
What?
GT?
They're putting it in a $100,000+ flagship coupe. They're putting their base model four-cylinder turbo in the AMG GT.
The GT43. Well, at least I know who's a pleb with one of those.
416 horsepower four-cylinder in $100,000+ gigantic Mercedes coupe. Okay, so I see that shape and I immediately think the sound of an
V8.
AMG V8.
Not a farty old V8.
Not a 44-cylinder?
Yeah.
Going-
Not V8. What am I talking about? Yeah, well, four-cylinder, yeah. I guess that's better than a corporate V6.
It is, but okay, we do agree. But what?
I would have just not made it.
Yeah, can we just keep the V8 and not do that?
Or could you just not make the car at all?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I would rather the car just not be made.
The GT is like 10 years old.
What is better? A 1982 Corvette or no Corvette?
No Corvette.
Exactly.
This is a 1982 Corvette.
This is
from
your
Mercedes.
1982. This is your German
This is
1982
the
Corvette.
50th anniversary pace
How
car
much-
edition.
How much horsepower do the V8s make by comparison? 'Cause-
That's a good question. I think
Like
they're like
Ford-
high 500s. So.
okay, yeah. So you're losing a little bit of power, but not.
Again, that is a metric shit pile of horsepower for a four-cylinder.
I'm also like
But I
Ford.
don't care.
This is the thing is, I'm just so jaded with hot rods and Hondas and stuff. Where I'm just like, yeah, 100 horsepower is fine.
Slow car
Like,
fast?
Yeah. Like, well, the Fiat and I've never owned a car over 200 horsepower in my life.
The Buick's under 200. Oh, okay, that's Janice.
It's Janice. It's in her name.
Oh, so is the Lexus.
Yeah, I've never owned a car over 200 horsepower.
Yeah, that tracks.
I've had all the fun in the world. So that's the thing. It's like 416 horsepower. It sounds like I could go to the moon with that. Like that's an insane amount of power to me.
When I bought my 420 SEL, that was my first time ever owning an 8-cylinder car and something with over 200 horsepower. It had 220 horsepower, maybe.
Yeah,
I was pretty tired. And I remember that. I'm like, huh, this is different. And I sold that car almost immediately.
Yep. I've had fun cars. Like I've had very, very good cars under 200 horsepower. This is a car that's vastly over 200 horsepower, and I cannot imagine this being a whole lot of fun.
No. Had they made this same decision, made a non-AMG GT,
They should have just
With,
called this
like-
a Mercedes GT,
they should have called it a Mercedes GT and put a shittier engine in it.
or just even that engine.
Well, sure. But I want it to be even slower.
The thing is that the AMG brand used to mean something.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It's like the Audi S line. Doesn't
Or
mean
the
anything.
M badge now.
M badge doesn't mean anything. Like credit where it's due. Like the Honda Type R badge and the Hyundai Inline actually mean something.
Well, yeah, because what were the other ones? ST
I
used
saw
to mean something.
I saw a Kona in yesterday.
A Conan,
Yes, I saw a Kona in when I was at the Black Heart playing bingo.
automatic only.
That doesn't matter. It's a crossover. Who the fuck cares?
I do, but I'm not the market.
It's a crossover. Who the fuck cares? You're not gonna. It's not gonna be a fun time. either
End
way.
line still means something. I agree.
It's automatic, but still a hell of a lot better than vanilla Kona.
For the warm hatch challenge.
Also, a vanilla Kona sounds like a delicious drink.
It does. Okay, vanilla gets ripped on way too much. It's a banging flavor.
Yes, it is.
I almost picked a Kia Forte for the warm hatch because they made it.
It's not a hatch.
What was it? No, I'm
Oh,
thinking
they
of
did
the
make a
Elantra
hatch.
then.
Yes. No, they made a Forte.
I think they
Wait,
did.
they?
Anyway, the small.
I can't be bothered to know.
It doesn't matter, but like I actually drove a Forte 6-speed one time with just the 1.6.
Yeah, the ST one.
It drove really well.
Yeah, Forte or the Forte Coupe.
Yeah, KOUP.
Yeah.
But it
Coupe.
I swear to
The
God,
Forte
it was
Coupe.
coupe.
No, it's coup d'etat.
Anyway, other than the engine eating itself to pieces, I'm sure
Yeah, they're
it
They're fun.
drove pretty well. Like
Yeah.
the suspension valving wasn't great, but like if I had to buy a cheap new car with a stick, like that would be up my list.
it was a
I
little
think.
mild, but like yeah, no, like they weren't bad. I just think
You can get it with the 1.6 turbo though.
that era, like the early 2010s, when manufacturers are making like sporty versions of not good cars, like they were cars that 10 years prior would have been exciting, but they
Yeah.
had just done it at a point in which like you could get a brand new Kia Forte Coupe Or
Data.
or you could get a used DSM, or you could get like a kind of clapped out like bug eye STI. Not even clapped out. You could just get a bug eye STI for the same price. Like at that, they were just like a decade late. Like that car would have been quite cool in like 2002.
And the reason why they still had relevance is because it was the only thing I named the episode, by the way.
Oh, very good, very good.
But no,
Why don't we call this one the let's call it the warm hatch challenge,
fine.
because we've been talking about warm hatches this whole time. But yeah, it's just
I liked coupe data.
yeah, that's fair. But God, anyway. Yeah, the Kia Forte was just like, it was like a day late and $1 short. It was a fine car.
It's an Elantra. It's boring, but you could get a cheap, well-warranted car with a manual.
If you would put a Kia Forte coupe side by side on sale next to a Honda Civic Si EP3, that would have been a good pairing.
Yeah, at the same time in 2003.
Yeah, but that came out in 2009, 12.
Yeah,
Like you had the Mugen Si,
several generations. Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, you had the like Kimmy's car, that generation Mugen Si,
Which
that
was one of my
sale.
favorite generations of Civic.
Yeah, like that was the last good Civic, and then you had like the Corolla XRS that was still on sale. Actually,
That was the same year the EP3 sold that one time.
Yeah,
the XRS launched.
Yeah. Okay. So there was still like a cooler sort of. Well, you had the TC. So you had like cool cars that you could purchase. A very, very tired RSX, I think you could still get. No, you couldn't. No, not in the 2000. Not by 2012.
I thought they launched in 04.
I need to.
I almost picked a TC, but it wasn't a hatch.
Yeah, it's a coupe. That's right. It stands for
couldn't-
Toyota Celica
Oh.
TC, because it replaced the Celica.
Back in the day, we were trying to replace our terrible high school vehicle, and we were looking at Bug Eye, STIs, WRXs.
So the first generation
LGTs.
Forte coupe came out in 2008.
Oh, really?
Yes, and there was a hatch as well. Yes.
Okay.
And there was the coupe. So yeah.
The Fortnite.
Okay, the coupe came out in 2010. It was announced in 2008, but it came out in 2010.
Coupe.
Yeah,
Data.
the coupe. The Kia Forte coupe was 2010. So like, the thing is, in 2010, there's a lot of cooler shit that you could buy than a Kia Forte coupe. So
Yep. And again, the car's a victim of being sold in the wrong era. Too late.
Yep.
Too late.
yeah, day late and $1 short. Like,
All it has left for it right now is it's still sold with a manual.
I think I remember actually reading a review of that in Super Street, where they were saying like, this is actually a good car. It's just that we don't understand why this wasn't sold to us 4 years prior.
Right.
Like even
They had the technology.
like yeah, like the car didn't come out yet, but like if this was the Kia that was offered in 2004, we'd have a very different story about the sport compact tuning era of the 2000s. And I remember that Super Street actually was saying that in their review in era.
The change in Hyundai Kia from 2003 to 2012 was
Massive.
it's
But it was
a
like
paradigm. I mean, it's
it's a huge. It was a
completely different
huge
company.
shift, and it's just a little bit late for that era. But now they're all stolen.
Yep, and we have the N line, which still means something.
Anyway, so back to the topic, which is the AMG GT flagship. It's now shipping with a 4-cylinder. Just kill it.
Yeah, it's an
Kill it
old.
dead.
It's an old car.
I don't need an 82 Corvette. It exists.
Seriously, yeah. If you have to put a restrictor plate in your V8 to make 105 horsepower to barely hit emission standards, don't do it.
Yeah, and so this is we were talking about the all that stuff about other cars. Like this is the 82 Corvette exists. I don't need to spend $100,000+ to get an 82 Corvette. I don't need to buy a Kia Forte coupe because there's already an EP3 that's cheaper. Like yeah, it sucks. I don't want it. I'm done.
Years ago, Mercedes made, and I think it was even in production, but they did an all-electric AMG GT. Just do
Oh
that
yes,
at
it
this
did.
point.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one. It's the SLS. So it's even longer ago.
Yeah.
Just do that instead.
Also, auto car. Auto car. It's because your your Google's all messed up because now you're getting things for Autocar India.
Oh, perfect.
That nobody else on earth would be getting. So,
But just don't give us a crappy 4-cylinder. Just make it electric. We're done. If
make
you
it
can
electric or don't make it. Like I don't need to like
keep it V8, make it electric, discontinue it.
you know it, by
Those are
20 by 2050 you're gonna have a base model Charger that's gonna have like a 1-liter 1-cylinder engine that makes like 200 horsepower, and it's like the bare minimum of like there's like one guy like desperately holding on to like internal combustion, like I don't want electric, let it go.
It's gonna be like the world's angriest sounding Vespa going down the road.
Yeah.
And get an LX platform.
I might be interested in that. But anyway, on that bombshell, we'll see you next week. Bye.